We're now going to present a short video that we created expressly for this summit, intended to convey a message from a few diversified messengers that we need more mercy and humanity in this system. I want to thank Shoshana Lians, who cleaved to this idea as if it was a real thing until it was, Chaya Lerner, Chaya Block, and Daniel Goodman. Thank you very much. And then I'll speak. Yes.
Charles, in 1995, I was arrested for a nonviolent drug offense. In 1996, I received a 35-year sentence. Charles, in 1995, I was arrested for a nonviolent drug offense. In 1996, I received a 35-year sentence for that nonviolent drug offense.
Both my sons struggled with substance use disorder.
I know what it was like to be incarcerated at a very young age of 15 and basically grow up in the adult prison system.
I was thrown in solitary confinement multiple times, a total of 7 years.
I came from the same background of being incarcerated. As a young kid, I was locked up when I was 16. Eventually I got out when I was 27, and that pursued me to help my brothers and sisters that are still locked up.
Some of the messages that we try to instill in our youth and those who are struggling within the current system is that you are not hopeless. They are redeemable. They do have the capacity to mature and change, and we are there to help them to understand that there is hope. And so it's through our policies, it's through our work, it's through the examples of those of us who have been through the system to encourage those who are currently going through it that we haven't forgotten about you.
There was a lot of times when people in the inside showed us that compassion. You know, it was some of those POs that really cared about me in general, you know, or us in general.
I'm the man that I am today because I have a very resilient spirit, and I refuse to allow that system to break me or define me. And that spirit was cultivated and nurtured by men who were dying in prison. And they showed me mercy and compassion and empathy because they saw something in me that was redeemable, and they fought hard to ensure that I had the tools and the skill set that I needed to get out and impact the community in the way that I do now.
We're actually humanizing some of the folks that are inside. So part of it is not exploiting people. You know, part of it is not creating stories or dialogue that's gonna exploit somebody.
Where you're making decisions, you can't think about just a moment, you have to think about the larger picture, right? If you can look at another person and acknowledge their humanity, then it's easier for you to extend your hand to them and lift them up when they've fallen down. And I think the pathway toward creating that empathy is by how we even identify those men and women who are incarcerated. I don't refer to men and women in prison as prisoners, offenders, inmates, or whatever other names that they choose to call them, because those identifiers strips them of their humanity. You know, there are mothers in there, there's fathers in there, there's grandmothers in there, grandfathers, there are sons, daughters, there's aunties, uncles, friends, you know, it's all type of people in prison.
I was raised to have an open heart, to have compassion for everyone, and to see everyone as deserving of a second chance. We are part of a supposedly free society. We have to do better. It is our obligation and our responsibility as humans to believe in the potential for growth and change, and to see ourselves as a source of compassion.
I believe in redemption, that every human being is redeemable. I believe in showing mercy, and I believe in second chances. And it's because I was given a second chance that I've been able to have this platform to speak about criminal justice reform and the need for more of it.
For me, it's really become profound where I believe that everybody in our society makes mistakes. The mistakes vary in terms of the magnitude of them. The consequences are, in many cases, highly variable based on the position and privilege of the person who makes a mistake. And generally speaking, every human being should have a chance for redemption, and every human being should have a chance to have a second chance.
We are the 100% of people who make mistakes.
The 100% of people who deserve respect,
dignity and fairness.
We need healthy, thriving communities that empower.
More than prisons and jails that punish.
Because we believe that making mistakes does not make you unworthy of second chances.
Thank you. The energy in this room these 2 days has been palpable at Rewriting the Sentence 2019. I'm so excited to be part of it. It's kind of felt to me as if there's getting to be some critical mass for ending mass incarceration, but maybe it's just the headiness of hearing so many key stakeholders speaking so strongly and urgently about how we can do better. Either way, I'm grateful to all the wonderful speakers who shared their perspectives, successes, and challenges these couple of days. I think we really have moved the conversation, but it won't end here. Aleph has been incubating an idea alongside the work building the summit content and attendance. We want this conversation to grow, and we want to take it to another location, one you don't have to fly to or even take an Uber to get to, or mark time off on your calendar to attend. So we're making this the official announcement of the Center for Fair Sentencing. Thank you. The center, thank you, is part of Aleph's multi-pronged strategy to explain and foster the expansion of alternatives to incarceration and the shift in sentencing values already underway. We believe the center can be a valuable resource for learning about and sharing ideas, and we feel like it's happening in real time, live and on the dais here. Won't you please join us to continue this discourse? Here's how. When the center launches, it will include a digital portal and clearinghouse of information on alternatives to incarceration so that we can truly deepen and widen this conversation. We will add to it, and we will ask you to also. The clearinghouse will provide data and analysis, lift up examples of programs using data-informed approaches and best practices, publish turnkey guides, such as a guide for establishing alternative programs, proffer policy white papers and reports, and advocate for expansion of and support efforts to improve use of alternatives to incarceration. I've heard a lot of mention over these past days about the goal of reducing incarceration, with whether it's a real goal and how much. The ACLU and Cut 50 and other organizations have specific goals around the reduction of incarceration. What's a good goal for how many cases currently involving incarceration could avoid incarceration? Could we get to 50% of cases disposed of without incarceration, jail or prison? Our system has wielded incarceration as its only significant tool for so long that we don't even reach for other ones in our tool belt. They are right here. They have been lifted up in this room. We're launching the center to build our collective toolbox. We will share more details of the rollout of the center over the coming months. We deeply thank each and every one of you for coming to this summit and for your attention to this important subject. If you came here robustly engaged in alternatives, great. If you were just alternatives curious, we hope you found some interesting fodder here. Either way, from now on, please join the community of rethinkers on sentencing, rethinkers on how to hold people accountable, rethinkers on when to use prison and jail. Many of you who were involved in this summit have already joined our inaugural advisory board for the center or become partners. We invite any other attendees here or on the live stream to contact me to discuss the center and how you can get involved. To help us get started, please pay special attention to the evaluation forms that we've provided and also are online. We've added special questions that will help us hone our work and decide what to focus on at the center, so we'd love to have your participation. And we thank you so much for your participation in the summit and in the center. Thank you very much, and thanks for being here, everybody.